What's up, folks? I'm Coach Higgy. Welcome to Outside the Lines, where sports are more than a scoreboard, they're a classroom. This episode, we have Roman Boylan, a former standout wrestler at Alexander High School, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and now he owns and operates his own wrestling facility down in Carrollton, Georgia, called the Coliseum Training Center. Let's dive in. It's on social media. So all of this tech stuff is kind of blowing my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, to be honest with you, I'm not very good at it. I don't like to per se. I actually have somebody that does some of it for me. I mean, I even outsource that sometimes because I don't like to get on there and get caught up. Me and my wife were literally having a conversation yesterday about getting caught doom scrolling and just kind of falling into the world around us. And someone even sent me a piece of scripture yesterday. I think it's Romans 12:2. It might be. It just talks about kind of living in the moment and not letting everything around you constantly consume you. And I don't know, it kind of just spoke to me a little bit. But yeah, yeah, this whole tech stuff, man, with the AI and the automation and everything's being done for us. Our floors vacuum themselves. It's our cars redirect us when we go off the side of the road. Some of it's good. Sometimes we all need a little bit of redirection, don't we?
Yeah, that's that's pretty insightful. The yeah, I wish I could recall scripture when somebody throws a number out there, but I'm not that guy. I think I've got the idea in me, but I don't have the numbers of the scriptures right. But Romans is to know that not to get caught up in the world. You talk about doom scrolling was really big. It's been big on my heart, which is one of the reasons that we started this podcast. I mentioned it to Rick the other day. Blackstone was this forces me to be a producer instead of a consumer on the social media end. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
And
it's
as a creator, like you like music, you're an artist as well, and uh, like I do with acting and modeling or advertisements per se, movies. That's how I feel too. I just feel like I'm producing, not consuming.
yeah.
Everyone's like, kid asked me the other day, they're like, do you just like sit at home and like watch all the stuff you've been in? I was like, to be honest, I sometimes don't ever watch it, or I've never watched it. Sometimes, it's like Johnny Depp has a quote. He says, I mean, they hire me to do the job. He's like, once they say cut, like my job's done. Like oh, but just enjoying doing it more than it is the actual thing itself,
Yeah.
the creating with others.
Yeah, that's a
Not a,
no, that's where I've been for a lot of my life was I'd rather play the game than watch the game. I never was,
yeah,
if the Falcons were on as a kid, I'd listen to them on the radio while I was outside throwing the football. But I wasn't inside
yeah.
watching them. But so anyway, yeah, I love that, and I love that about you too. I love that that's what you've always been about is just doing. Um, it didn't take you long to to jump into whatever you're doing. You know, I want to know. This is just a straightforward question, but kind of just to pop it out there, when Christ Jesus, and you brought up Romans early, but when Christ Jesus is teaching us, or when he was on the earth teaching, what do you think about when you think about what he was teaching?
Hmm, that's a good question. Um, Something kind of just popped in my head. I don't know if it's too adjacent or not, but I almost feel like sometimes when I'm teaching, not to throw it back on myself, but it almost makes you feel accountable. Like when you say the things and show the things and do the things rather than just tell people about it all the time. It's like when I show wrestling moves, sometimes it helps me get better at the moves because I have to break it down and explain it in a way. So I like learn it. It also keeps me accountable of like doing it and knowing what's going on. And I feel like sometimes he's doing it almost to help people learn, but also by showing by example.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like actually doing the things, doing the miracles, doing the stuff that he says he's going to do. And then the rest is of course fate, things that are to be unfolded. But I feel like more leading by example than it is just explaining something.
No. Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's
And that
Roman,
was
man.
that's a different way to take what you said, but that was just
Love it.
a
And sometimes when I do this, I feel like I'm putting people on the spot about like I'm trying to teach them something, and that's not what this is at all. It's just like I want to know where y'all are coming from. I
yeah, I
want
want to
to,
hear you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to hear
Well, you
exactly.
ask real questions, you get real answers. If you
Yeah,
say, "Hey, how are you?" I say, "I'm good. I'm fine. How are you?" I'm good too.
yeah,
Guess what? That's recited. That's rehearsed. You ask if you ask good questions, you get real answers.
yeah. I
You
don't.
know, breaking the norms, man. It's very important for real conversations to have in these platforms. I find it to be really cool because it's just a way for people to express themselves, their faith, to ask questions, to think, to pause. Not just ramble, and really just to relish. And I don't know. That's something I've been working on. Is instead of filling words up, just pausing, reflecting, thinking, being okay in the area where it's not filled all the time.
Where there's listening,
Hmm.
there's a lot of value in listening. Sunday school was about the word Shema, and in Deuteronomy there's some scripture that the Jewish people used to say all the time, and it was about listening to listen. The older I get, the more I try to listen. It's not an easy thing to do because I mean even in this context right here when you and I are yapping, what I'm doing a lot, what I try to stop doing is think about what I'm going to say next. I'd rather
Hmm.
listen. And I love what you said.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the best acting too. Everyone, how do you remember all those lines? I did a movie and I had 300 lines. I can't remember anything. I don't, how do you remember all those lines? I was like, it's not as much like remembering it when you understand the text. Like I'm listening to what they're saying and all I'm doing is responding to what someone else wrote. I understand the conversation that's being had. So like with us talking, you don't know what I'm going to say without listening, right? You have to actually wait for me to get done talking. Your brain's already processing what I'm about to say. And a lot of times acting's the same way too. If I'm just waiting for you to get done talking, for me to say my line and then you say your line, then you start to realize it doesn't really it's not cohesive. It doesn't work together. It's not natural. Because you have to actually actively listen. If I know what you're gonna say and you said it 10 times in a row, but besides the first time, if I don't sit there and I think about what you're saying, then I take a moment to reflect what you said, and then I respond accordingly. You know, that's what makes it really tough about acting. But it also what makes it a lot easier too is just listening to what they're saying and then answering. It's not memorizing. Anything recited seems recited sometimes.
There's a there's a word that one of my buddies at church hammer with me all the time, and that is read the Bible in context. And that
Hmm.
sounds like what you're doing is you're. I never thought about that in terms of acting. You think about the entire picture, and then you're just responding, and it's not scripted. What did you? I don't
Right.
remember the words you.
Yeah, scripted. Yeah, so understanding your characters, everything too, which is I kind of like relay back into life too. It's like understand where, like, what is my everybody. A lot of times we ask a few things in the scene. It's like, what does the character want? Who are the relationship with the people in the scene? Like, what do they want out of what do they want out of the scene? And then are they trying to get something? How are they trying to get it? They're either asking a question or they're pretty much saying a statement. You know what I mean? It's really one of two things. Um, yeah, what are the motives? And then who are the relationship with the people that they're talking with? And if you understand those things, then you kind of understand a little bit more your character. And then when you ask me a question, I just kind of respond in the way that that character would, that I've read over and
Yeah,
over and over again. You kind of add your own little thing to it and see what they say, see what the director says, you know what I mean? And then they have their own little
they
love it
have
though.
their. Yeah, they throw their nuances in. Man. I mean, I can't. This is not at all. Uh, kind of where I love that where I thought it might go. Man, you brag her in the picture, whatever you want to do. This is so cool. But there's a how old is she now?
She is 18 months.
Yeah.
You say, hey, friend.
Hey, oh my God. Hello.
Say hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. You say,
Hello.
we, for Christmas, she likes to play with our nativity scene. So we got her a little kid nativity scene. She says, baby Jesus.
Oh, sweet. Oh
Is
my
it baby
God.
Jesus?
Yep, I heard it. Oh
Baby
my
Jesus.
God. And Miss Kaylee.
That's so funny.
Wow. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really beautiful. You know, we were talking about the context. I can't get past that. I want to hang on to that thought for a minute about Christ knows our character, right? You were saying that about acting. You know what the relationships are with the other people in the scene and all that, right? Keep it in context. Thinking about how Christ, he knows us. And I'm going to share a little story with you. I was hiking years ago. It's been 20 years ago now. And we were in the woods and it was in the fall. And so everything was dead. The scene was not beautiful. It wasn't a beautiful view or anything. We're just in the woods. Everything's dead. And I remember sitting down and I was looking out to the woods and the Lord just spoke to me and said, what I heard was, I'm looking at my creation through your eyes. He was looking
Looking
at
at
the
my
very,
creation.
yeah, he, that and he was, and that's what you're talking about with the movies and knowing the characters and knowing those kind of things, being in the context and in the moment is if you'll, that's how much he listens to us. Is he literally is looking at his own creation through my eyeballs, the one that he created. And
Yeah.
it really gave me an insight into really who I am, which is nothing if he hadn't have done it. But he cares so much that he's listening. And I had, I didn't, the movie thing, I saw on your bio too, the movie thing is pretty important to you because he's got, I can't remember exactly, but faith, family, movies, and then wrestling. And I would not have ever put those, I'd have flipped the movies and wrestling with you. So it's
Oh,
become
it
pretty
definitely
important
is.
to you.
I actually, to be honest, at the time when I made that, I wasn't a coach at the time. Yeah, so yeah, I wasn't I didn't own a wrestling gym, and wrestling became secondary at the time because, wrestling's been a big part of my life, of course, major, but now it is almost more than it ever has been. The amount that I mean, I just feel like I'm finally actually doing something. You know this as coaching. There's something just so fulfilling about it that's irreplaceable. It's not really in comparison to other things like you were saying with teaching. Teachers are teachers because they enjoy teaching. They're not, you know, they have other beautiful skills to do other things if they want to, but like that's what they feel like they're supposed to do, So a lot of them do it whether or not they get paid for it, whether or not they don't. They just do it because they like to, especially people that do sports. Some people do it for a little bit of extra money, or some people do it because they have to. They feel like they don't have another choice. Not in the sense that they have to they like morally, like this is what I'm supposed to do. I am a teacher, and I think I have a unique ability to explain that, and I'm starting to gain the courage to really start wearing faith on my sleeve in my room and have it be one of those just filled with his hospitality and love. It's kind of tough because I started up a business and then um, kind of some of the focus getting people in the door, making sure the price is right, make sure the service and the product is what it is, and people are starting to come and fill the room. Yes, because I know wrestling, but it's a lot more than that. I think my ability to impact some of these kids, I think a lot of parents are finding value from, and I think that's a lot of the reason that my room is filling and the business is doing well. And I think that's also what's filling me up is the amount that I can
Wow.
impact them. And I feel like if I don't wear, you know, Christ on my sleeve, then it's not that I'm doing a disservice, but I mean, maybe. Yeah, actually, yeah, so I have, I have a unique ability, especially because I'm not in schools and I'm not in all that. I'm doing my own thing, so I can put what I want on the wall. I can talk about what I want at the end of practice. There are no lines for me. And sometimes I'm still feeling like I'm either crossing them or afraid to, so that's something that I'm working on. Um, Leaving the 99 or, leaving the one for the 99 or vice versa, so just figuring some of that out,
That's
not being ashamed of my faith either, you know.
yeah. That's a that was a jump for me, and I'm gonna tell you, man, what's hard for me. Just so you know that we all struggle with some stuff. It's one of the hardest things for me to share, like for sharing it with you or sharing it at school or wherever, is the craziest thing. But to share it with my family, for some reason, that's kind of where I've been in the last 6, 8 months. Is like, okay, it's time to get over that. And so, just know that the enemy is always trying to stop the gospel, right? I mean, that's the whole
Right.
point. He's always trying to stop the good news, and but man, that's really powerful. What you're telling me is grabbing a hold of the coaching thing. Yeah, that when we were talking earlier about how I'd rather be a doer than a watcher kind of thing. That's what coaching offered me when I couldn't play anymore, because I never was really that great at anything anyway. But I learned, because I was not very good. I didn't have the physical abilities. I learned. I realized I had to learn the game itself to have any
Yeah.
impact at all, right? Or whatever game it was. And so as a coach, that's helped me. Brandon Bone and I used to talk about that all the time. But so at this, when you guys are at the gym, is there more than? Are you the only coach there? You probably have other coaches involved too.
I do have a lot of really awesome people helping out and coaches there. So I have about 4 or 5 coaches. Some of them, of course, used to wrestle. Uh, I actually got 3 coaches there that wrestled in college that have kids now that also attend the program. And of course, they know wrestling has been part of their life. They're helping out at practices. I have a really awesome weight training coach that also attends. I have a boxing coach that does some things as well. Yeah, we have a really awesome little family that we've built, and I think it's a lot of opportunity for people to grow. And I think it's just been, man, it's been exciting. I
Yeah, that's. How
Yeah, I
long have
feel like
y'all
I'm
been?
leading the charge a little bit, but I never feel afraid to lend over the reins. They feel like I know that they feel like it's more of a team thing. It's not a me thing, you know, building something special
That's.
together.
I hope somebody. No, I'm pausing, man, because I'm letting it sink. I'm hoping people, anybody that was that hears what you just said. I'm leading the charge, but I'm not afraid to give over the reins. That's a that's a very mature thing. It really is. First of all, it takes a lot of faith to step out and lead the charge, and then it takes a lot of courage to let go of the reins once the ball gets rolling. So there's a lot going on there, and if you think about, I mean, I'm going to relate everything I can back to Christ. I mean, this is
Of course.
exactly what he did. He led the charge and then handed the reins over to the disciples, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really just like I trust them, you know what I mean? And they built trust in me, and it's really really cool that I have an opportunity to. And the main reason that I even started up the gym was because the acting strike happened, and then all my commercials stopped, all my other things stopped, and then it was like, well, all right, now what? So I was cleaning gutter. I was cleaning gut. Yeah. What?
Yeah, I lost you there for just a second. You said you were. I need you to go back to the actor strike.
Hello, you got me?
Yeah, you got
Gotcha.
me.
So yeah, I do. I
Okay.
no, yeah. One weekend I was on a couple billboards, really cool opportunity, and then the next weekend I was cleaning gutters. Right, I was cleaning gutters. I was on a 40-foot roof on a 40-foot ladder, swaying back and forth, not tied off, concrete underneath me. It was freezing cold outside. like scraped up my arm. My arm was deep in the gutter. The ladder started to fall, slide. I grabbed onto the gutter, almost fell 40 feet to the ground. And I was like, I got to find something in between billboard photo shoots and gutter cleaning. And I mean, I cleaned gutters for 9 months, whatever it takes. Um, I have no shame in the game. And then I was thinking, I was like, all right, I got to find something in between these two things. Um, and then I was like, well, what am I any good at? What do I like to do? I was like, well, I like wrestling. Okay, I could be a coach. And then it's like, well, then I got to go back to school. I got to get a couple more little things to be actually my coaching thing. And I was like, oh, maybe I could start up my own gym. And then I was like, and then in my head, I remember saying, oh, no, that's crazy. There's no way. And then I was like, challenge accepted. Like in my own brain, I was like, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I couldn't get it out of my head. And 2 months later, I made a deposit and figured it out from there. Worked for 8 months for 40 hours a week, not turning over a dollar. Just staying resilient and seeing where it could go from there. And yeah, it's been a ride, but it's fortifying. I love it.
Yeah. No, there's nothing like growing something. How long you been? When was that? When did that? How long
3 years
ago was
ago.
that?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Where's the gym?
4 minutes from the Carrollton Square on
Okay.
Columbia Drive. It's like
All right. What's
three
the
like
name of?
yeah. It's called the Coliseum Training Center. Is the name of the gym.
All right, I'll get it. I should have known that. I should be better at this, but I will get that on the podcast and the 17 people that'll see this right now.
Hmm.
Well, but you know what, man? I'm like, I hear you. I get the challenge accepted part. I get, and when you do things like that, isn't it nutty how you just have to let other stuff go? There's stuff that,
I feel like they're out of your
yeah,
hands. You're out of your reins. It's like, all right, rolling with the punches. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm talking to a lot of parents, like a lot of parents, a lot of questions, a lot of emails, a lot of calls, pretty much saying the same thing over and over again. Hey, what's going on? I got a 7-year-old that weighs 65 pounds, interested in wrestling for you guys. What do you guys got going on? Like how's it all work? Like, okay, come on in, put your
wow,
shoes on,
yeah.
try it out.
So try it out.
It's not for
I
everybody. That's what I tell them. I was like, it's not for
no,
everybody. So the first class is always free because I'm not trying to take your money. So come in, make sure this is something that they want to do. Um, it's simply not for everybody. I think
yeah,
it's
no, wrestling
I
is
think
not.
it's for everybody. I don't think. Hmm, it's tough. It's a good question. It's just
No, say it,
such a
man.
hard
Yeah,
sport. Like I think it's I, I think it's for everybody. I just don't think. I think it's just too tough for people, which is why I think it should be for everybody. I think it's challenging in a
there
lot
you
of
go.
ways that are separate from other sports. It's a very lonely sport compared to other sports. I find um, a lot of self deprivation, a lot of there's a team aspect, but it's a lot of it rises and falls on you, and there's no one to blame really. Oh, it's a bad hop. The sun was in my eye. He missed a block. It's really on you, and you're out there in the most revealing outfit you could ever imagine under the brightest lights, with chaos around you, with the sounds of the whistles and the people yelling and the screaming. It's like a sport where literally parents and people can literally just scream and yell at two people fighting in the middle of the center, like a Roman Colosseum, gladiators just getting after it. And then, especially at this age, they're either getting their hand raised or their hand stays by their side. And they're dealing with so many emotions. They just want a match. They're jumping for joy. And then 24 minutes later, they're crying underneath a bleacher. And it happens so fast. Like, it's, I think it's so special because not other sports, you get this immediate gratification, delayed gratification, kind of like measuring stick constantly, where your emotions are constantly on this roller coaster. Um, and you're figuring out a lot of stuff about yourself and how to handle. emotions constantly. And I think that's what's really special about wrestling. You're faced with fears and emotion just deliberately to the point where it breaks people for the good or it's just too much for them.
Yeah, that's a great description, and that may be snipped out of this little podcast and put on a reel somewhere. That was well said. That's exactly what happened. I mean, I've seen, I've only had one kid that wrestled for 1 year, and is like you said, man, it was so revealing, the emotions of up and down so quick. I mean, and that was for the dad.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah,
wasn't even for my son.
yeah,
I'm not. I
yeah.
don't know what he went through,
Yeah,
right?
you're on the edge of your
So,
seat one moment, you're like this, you're just yeah, it's like a roller coaster for everybody.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
it's
pretty. If
exciting.
you guys are, yeah, it is. It's exciting sport. Sport in general. Is a good training ground. I believe it's a great training ground for kids if the adults that are coaching them can express the principles of life to them through sports. Does that make sense?
1000%.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I try to every practice to relate something to life and Christ, either at the same time
yeah,
or at some point.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing that about life in Christ. I learned that lesson when I was 40. The Lord changed my life really quickly, a lot of different areas, and I started back to church, but I also started teaching and coaching in the school system. And the thing that I learned pretty quickly was that what Christ is trying to teach me, one of the things he's trying to teach me, was that the things in the Bible are good for my life.
Yeah,
The things that he's teaching me, like sacrifice and uh, love your neighbor and do things for others, and which is what a coach is doing now. Now that you're not wrestling, you're doing for others,
right.
and you even emphasize that with about earlier about teaching. So yeah, so when you're teaching them a lesson about life, man, even if you don't mention Christ in it, he's in it because he's the one that made the flipping principles that guide our life, a good life on earth anyway.
Yeah.
So I
My wife said something the other day. She's like she's getting more into scripture in the morning and doing her own Bible study and meeting up with some other girls and she was like, it's just crazy. It's wild how, of course, like, when you go to service or whatever's happening, it's like, oh, it's like he's speaking directly to me. It's like we're all going through these things. They're also similar. A lot of times it's like, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I have all these questions. It's like it's in that book right there, the one that's been sitting collecting dust. I'm worried about this. I need answers. It's in that book. Pick the book up. Like,
yeah
and that's
yeah
something I need to do
it, it,
just even more. Just something I'm trying to work on too. But all your
yeah
answers
we
are in
all
that
are
book.
there. Yeah, they are
In the
Roman.
book.
They're in the
Whether it's
book,
through
and they're
something
not.
else, whether it's explaining it in another way, or and whether it's a metaphor, the actual answers aren't. They're all evolving. I don't think there's ever any finite answer. Yeah, it's just it is the answer.
Yeah, yeah, that's what he said. He was the truth, right? There was a lady when I was at Stewart. Her name was Brenda, and Brenda Holland, and she worked with the special needs kids, the contained kids, and she was trying to figure out. She's about to retire and figure out what she wanted to do, and she didn't know what the Lord wanted her to do. And man, the Lord just spoke to me like, I don't think the Lord really cares what we're doing down here, which relates to this question, the thing that we're talking about in terms of the answers are in the Bible. I mean, he's not going to tell me which car to buy, or he's not going to tell me, he's not going to those kind of answers. But he is going to give me the underlying foundation and and principles of life, which is some of the things that you kids have taught me as a teacher. Um, yeah, the answers are in the book. They're in the book. I love that you thought about that pretty intently when you were saying it. They're in there, man, and yeah. What do you think? Now, I'm not going to ask that question because that's the wrong kind of question. Look, when you look back on wrestling, how did you've kind of already answered this, but is how do you think it prepared? What was the biggest thing that you pulled from it that's helped you now?
There's a phrase in wrestling called "embrace the grind," um, and then there's also a famous quote in wrestling that says, "Once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy." It's because from a young age, it's like what you would think complete military training or like Navy SEAL training is for like a kid, you know? So those are some of the strongest mentally, physical, combative people with emotions handle themselves under high pressure and stress. It prepares you. So like a lot of times when I've been in so many uncomfortable situations, being able to smile through those and just realizing that like this is just a phase. It's just kind of part of it. There's an up, there's a down, and there's somewhere in the middle somewhere. Embracing the grind, and then some people call it, it's a little worse, called like embrace the suck. Like yes, this sucks, but like that's part about what makes it so special. Because if you only take what's easy and given everybody, like that's what everyone else has. There's just nothing worth having anything special or different or worth more or working harder than anyone else. That's why we all have like a will. We have choices to make, you know. So I think being able to feel okay in hard times and realize that there's something on the other side, or it's a phase, or it's really just a test, and either testing my faith. It's like the old phrase, right? What doesn't kill you,
Makes you
you
stronger,
know.
yeah.
So
So okay, so going back to the movies, like for me, it's easy to see. Okay, embrace the suck, embrace the grind. It's easy for me to see
in
that and like,
wrestling,
okay, so we went and cleaned gutters,
yeah,
right? I see that in wrestling, so he's doing. I can see those kind of happenings, but in the movies, what is embracing the grind? Was there
embracing
moments?
the grind is spending 2 to 3 hours on a audition and reading lines and getting it down 8 pages and reciting it and setting up the equipment and steaming the wall or the backdrop and editing it and getting the lighting down and then shooting it 12 times and picking this and this decision and calling somebody to read the other lines with you, spending 4 hours doing that, 15, 20, 30, maybe 60 times in a row to be told, or not even to be told anything, to not even be sure if anyone watched it, to not get an opportunity to
Mm,
hear 90 no's that this isn't not quite good enough, but it's just not what we're looking for. Um, Working 100 plus hours on something, on a craft, uh, to get nothing out of it besides learning, which is the whole part of it, the process. It's the number game. Um, if you only take 4 shots, you only have a chance to make four. You take 100, start increasing your chances. You know, so um, that's tough because it can be very can put you down. You know, thinking like, man, it's like if you ask 20, 30 girls out, you know, and all of them said no, you feel like your worth starts to decline. It's the same ways if I took this $20 bill and I crumble it up and spit on it and step on it. And I say, hey, you still want this $20 bill? Everyone's like, well, yeah, why? It's because it's still worth $20. Yeah, no matter what happened to it, you know, it's still keeping that value. And I think that reinforcement through wrestling helps me with the diligence of understanding that it's not maybe just a no, it's just a not yet. And I'm building through this and I'm doing it because I enjoy it, not because I'm trying to get, you know, this $1,000 that it pays. I'm trying to half the time. That's why the pay is not even really good when you're starting out actor because everyone's willing to do it for free. You know, like
mm,
I'm willing to pay $200 to be in the movie. You know, like everyone's down. So if you give $200 to a bunch of hungry actors, and then they're all doing it. So there's no reason to charge more money or give more money out. There's so many people that need it or want it or willing to do it. You have to do tons of work. It took me a year and a half, 2 years just to even build up a reel, which is a compilation of videos of you doing different characters, just to even get an agent. Like, can't get an agent without getting a reel. Can't get a reel without having a reel sometimes. You know, you can't get a job without having experience. It's like one of those things when people get degrees and you can't make this money because you don't have any on job experience, any on site experience. It's like, yeah, I haven't had an opportunity. You know, it's like well, yeah, it's kind of how it works, you know. So acting's like that a lot too. It's just and then what I think would be really tough too is what I find to be tough is, hey, here's 3 pages. Um, I'll see you 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're supposed to be this person
Whoa.
that people believe. And I'm a lawyer, and fly me out at 8 o'clock at night to be there and film at 8 in the morning and have 4 pages of dialogue I got to get down as a lawyer. It's very stressful. It can be very tough. I gave you a lot there.
No, man, you get that's what this is about y'all. This is not about me. I don't have that great of a story. You guys are telling some good stuff. I'm telling you, it has been an amazing journey for me on this side, even in 5 podcasts. I want to talk about, and I'm going to let you go here in just a minute, bro. But I want to talk about this idea of commitment. That there's this thing that's been really tugging at me for several years now. That there's moments of decision making or commitment, and you've mentioned a couple of them. One was the acting thing, like right. I mean, you have to at some point have made a commitment, and then you generally just have to recommit a lot, right?
Yep.
You have to continue to do that. And then you mentioned it when you started the wrestling thing. What I mean, do you? Is there a cognitive moment like a moment where you go, okay, this is happening. This or I'm doing this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to do this. Well, it's either in the movies or with the wrestling thing.
Man, that's special. Seems like such a simple question, but nothing's all simple, right? Like it's all the context of what you're saying. Like I'm doing this. This is a decision. Like one, it's figuring out what in the world you're wanting to do. What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. It seems like it all changes. I I've always thought movies were cool. I've always liked wrestling. Thought it was interesting. I didn't watch like WWE or growing up or anything, but when I think of something that I want to do, something I guess with me, I don't know if it's like unique with me or whatever, but like when I get something in my mind, I wouldn't say I get obsessive over it. I just want to I want to get good at it. I mean, like in a way, like I don't want to just half butt it. You know what I mean? I want to see if I'm going to do this, I want to see what I can get out of the situation. Like what are all the options here? When I go to a new restaurant, I don't see the first thing on the menu and be like, I want that. Like I'm here to see the opportunity and the options here, whether they're things I can't afford or things that I would never eat. Just reading the menu sometimes. So I feel like if you don't explore those things and the challenges that I like to chase things that I can't ever catch is the pursuit to me. Like it's the love, like love what you do what you love. It's not obtaining the actual thing. I don't think the actual thing is real. I don't think there's an ultimate level of okay, I've done it. I've reached enough. Like I'm good now. I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to do business anymore. I've made it. I'm famous now. I don't have to. It's the whole pursuit of chasing it that excites me. It's the thrill of the hunt. It's not the like everything else. Like everything else comes and goes the more that you actually do the hunt. But and I think there's something that's been so relieving to me, the commitment part that you were saying. It's like my wife committed to working 4 or 5 12-hour shifts uh, a week for years while I'm pursuing uh, a modeling acting career, while not doing other work 'cause it's a hard job to have a real job because, hey, by the way, I'm not going to be here Monday for the next 4 days. Well, go ahead and pack your bags and leave. Like, you got to have a remote job. That's why a lot of people are bartenders and they work night shifts and do all kinds of different stuff so they can pursue these type of careers that can be demanding and you got to be ready to jump because if not, somebody else is. Um, Her working diligently, believing in me, uh, having faith that my gym's going to work out. I even had somebody say, "Hey, you going to shut the gym down? You didn't make any money this year." Like someone literally was like, I was like, "Oh," in my mind, I was like, "That's a success." Like I didn't lose any money because I also know the percentage. Like I'm like, well, 95% of people don't even get their business started off. Like 75% by
Right.
year 3, right? So I'm like, no, like word, like if I'm at the line, right? Like even if I go down a little bit, it's not too far from green. So uh, fully committing to it, and there's something so relieving now. I finally feel it's wild. I was telling my wife this. It's the first time in like 7 years that I guess I don't feel crazy. I don't feel like I'm just chasing a pipe dream. I don't feel the acting stuff got, doing it for 5, 6, 7 years and getting to the point where it's just tough. You're constantly chasing every gig. And now it seems like I've established enough relationships with people and with companies and brands and casting directors that I have 4 or 5 agents and they call me every other month and I'm booking, I'm doing my thing and I almost can rely on these things coming in because of the work that I put up front that I thought was almost spinning my wheels at a time and then also with the business
Mm.
that's just getting calls and filling and it's gotten to the point where I don't think that it'll ever go away. I don't think it'll I don't know. I just feel like anything financially that I've done, especially as a man, that's been tough for me. Not being able to provide and all that stuff because I got a degree. I could go get a job and do that, but I have to do these other things, or else I don't think I'd be well. I have to
Yeah.
I have to build. Like those are the two things that I've been. Anything that I've ever earned a dollar off of in the last few years has been off of something that I built. And I put all my chips in that.
Wow.
And it's really tough. I could be okay with not having anything in the basket sometimes you know? And then,
That's good.
yeah,
Hey, that makes me think about, okay. So when you and I don't hate to bring it up. I think it's the coolest part of the story when you were cleaning gutters, right? So did you do that for yourself, or did somebody else have a little
yeah,
thing they
somebody
were
had a
doing? You
little
was helping
thing and it
them.
was just two guys in a van and he was super booked and
Yeah,
I was pretty much the runner is what I call it. Like I'm the guy that's running up and down
yeah,
the ladder and cleaning them out. He's an old cat. He just had his foot on the ladder doing his thing,
yeah,
twiddling his
yeah.
thumbs, making sure I didn't slide too
No,
far left or right. But yeah,
that
four gutters
reminds.
in a day, man. 4 or 5 gutters a day.
I love it. Look, I did it I've done it that kind of work for a long time, brother. So I get it, and there's so much value in that because what if he hadn't have done that? What if you didn't do that? You wouldn't have had the motivation to go find something in between
Yeah,
the two,
100%.
right? That was, yeah. So there's value in
Yeah.
anything, man. If we just look for it,
Yeah, I love
absolutely.
it, Tim.
That's so good. Yeah, you gotta love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now I love the idea of commitment and decision making and all of that. I think that it's a big deal. I think we give up. Too many of us give up. We don't see immediate results, and so there's some things
Yeah, everyone wants
that's
the
I think
magic
that
pill.
stops us. Yeah, man. Amen. And hey, amen. And I've been guilty of that. I'll tell you the truth. And it's really interesting though when you find the things that that you're gonna do. And like you said, I think some of that is unique to you. I mean, there's some folks like, well, it's you. Everybody's unique in their own way, right? But I think you're unique a little bit in that way. In that when you do get a hold of something. Yeah, I wouldn't call it obsessive either. Like you said, I think it's just tenacity. I think you used that word earlier
Yep.
too. I think it's just tenacious, man. This is what I'm going to do. And so like I had a buddy that he was gonna come by, and he hasn't seen our house up here in Rome yet. We moved up here about 2 years ago, and he was going to come by and see us today. And I'm like, brother, you can come by, but from 11:30 to 2, I won't be available. And I mean, he's an hour and a half away, right? So he's not going to be able to come up here very often. But it's just that's how it has to be. Sometimes you just have to. This is what has to happen, right? Because what's going to happen Monday is I'm going to get my butt up and go to school because they're expecting me to be there,
Yeah.
right? So, but if we can motivate ourselves to do that, or we can commit
One
ourselves to
hundred
doing
percent.
what
It's all accountability,
on
partner.
our
Yeah,
own,
and it's hard. You have
yes,
sometimes the hard part about discipline is not actually doing the stuff. It's doing it when like everybody wants to do things while it's fun and fresh and New Year's resolutions. Like embracing the suck is doing it when you're not motivated. Everyone can do everything and anything when they're motivated. Can you find motivation when there is none there? It's because you made either a
yeah,
commitment, either you negotiate with yourself, which is the problem with people. People
that,
negotiate with themselves.
that's good.
It's not up for discussion. I made a decision, whether it's speaking to a kid and not giving in and giving them the candy when they shouldn't before dinner, or I'm going to exercise because this is what's good for me and this is what's necessary, and the choice between the good and the bad food to consume, or whether I need to just. It only takes 10 minutes to scrolling, 10 minutes of the Bible, 10 minutes of something motivational, listen to something,
Yeah,
read a book, right? Like the 10 minutes are the same either way. It's a 10-minute cold plunge is the same as the 10 minute of anything. You know what I mean? Like, how long does it how long
Yeah,
does
it's
it
10
take to
minutes. It's 10 minutes.
take a quick shower and do your bed? 10 minutes. You know?
Man, to 10,
So,
like that's pretty good word there. Be 10 minutes. The first 10. The hardest thing I do every morning is get out of bed. And as soon as that's the hardest thing I do. I tell myself that every morning. And then those 10 minutes right after I get out of bed, there's a routine that I go through, and I make myself do the very hard thing I don't want to do early in the morning, and it's helped me. I'm still a long ways from being what I want to be, but that has helped me to know that you can do the hard thing, right? Yeah, that's really good. And that's what I've always, that's what I see in coaches sometimes, man. I mean, like, coaches generally have that attitude of like, I mean, they have to because they're dealing with people and they're going to have to do things they don't want to do. You know, one of the more amazing things about coaches when you're talking about talking to parents, I mean, you're talking to them on a business side, so it's a little different, I guess, but it's still at the end of the day, they're
yeah.
parents. But some of the things that coaches have to deal with on the parent side is that grind, is that suck, is that, this is, I don't want to do this, but I've got to do it,
Yeah.
right? Um, it's a, kids are a valuable resource, man, and I can see a difference in you with Stevie Jane already being in 18 months. You're not the same person you were when I saw you a few years back. It's really good. What nobody
Yeah.
is,
That's the
but
whole
it's
point,
really
isn't it?
cool to see. Yeah, and you said something about a minute ago about you are at a good place. That's my words for it. And I'm like, yeah, that's tends little girls tend to do that
Yeah.
to their daddies. They'll make them realize that God
Yeah.
is
All is
good.
well.
All is well. All is well. All right, so I've got I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say? Anything when you were thinking about coming on here? Is there something you wanted to express?
Express. I feel like I've expressed pretty well. Uh, but here's
You
always the
really
thing
do.
too, right? Like I get asked to do a decent amount of podcasts and I hop on and stuff too. But I always like to always flip it around because people have a guest too, but it's a conversation. And you're sharing things. And
Yeah.
how are you doing? How is everything? Why a podcast? Do you listen to other podcasts? Or you just thought be a cool thing to do, or you just feel like it's a good way to be heard, or it's a great way to listen? Um,
Yeah, I
why
think it.
podcasting, or you know,
No, that's great. That is a good question. I appreciate you asking because what really did it is for years I did Facebook Lives on Sunday morning, and it got to where there were sometimes they were pretty awesome. It was fun anyway, and so over the past couple of years I haven't done them, and but yeah, now we'll listen to. We're just like everybody else. We do the social media thing and then get our 10 minutes of scrolling in. It turns into 2 hours. That, what did you call it? Doom
hmm
scrolling at the early part of this
yeah,
thing. So, but this is all about listening to you guys, man. I mean, I really am a believer that sports for kids are the opportunity for us adults to teach them life skills that Christ Jesus has
one
laid
thousand
out for
percent.
us. I just genuinely
Yeah,
believe that. I mean, you've seen the little lions, like, or the little cats or dogs or whatever, and they'll when they're born and they'll fight and they'll play. They call it playing because they're getting ready for when they grow up, right? That's the same thing that we're doing. That's how I see this, and I want coaches to share their testimony, man. I don't think there's anything stronger than a testimony for what God does in someone's life and what God can do. And the word tells us that we're overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony. I mean, I don't know any other way to overcome than to listen to Roman tell me how to make a decision. I've seen you make decisions. How the frig do you do it? Well, I can learn from that, and maybe somebody else can learn from that. And then I've had a conversation with Coach Horsley. Was one of my
uh,
favorite stories. You know Coach Horsley, and he really taught me a lot. So that's just me. That's where I'm at.
I have a quote that just popped up in my brain, and I'm kind of like
Yeah.
you too. You're good with quotes and remembering things because they impact you. It's not even a quote. I just thought about it. It's like how do I make the right decision? It's like just one decision at a time. Like
Yeah.
what?
One
I
man, I
think.
I'm not even one
Yeah,
at a time.
one decision at a
That's it. I
time.
mean,
Like deciding. You know, just eating the
I remember
frog.
sitting
Eat
in
the
the
frog.
restaurant,
You read that book?
eat the elephant, eat the frog, whatever. Oh yeah, absolutely, boy. Yeah, absolutely. One bite at a time, brother. Um, and I'm not even really sure that there's that many right or wrong
Uh,
decisions. I think it's more important that we make decisions. I know that's for me.
I think it's
So that's
beautiful
that,
that
and that's one of the reasons I wanted to
decisions.
have you on.
A lot of things are finite. Some things are having to be done. Most things aren't decisions. What's cool about decisions, it's
True.
actually opportunity. Like there's decisions between this or that. That means you have options. That's almost like an abundance. And then there's hard decisions, right? That can be very pivotal. A lot of times you get something up front, but it's laid out, or you get something up front and it doesn't last forever, or you get nothing in return. It's like a lot of times people go, "Why are you doing that for free? Why do you do this? Like, what do you do?" It's like I'm buying my time here. I'm learning, I'm developing my skills. That person's going to remember. I'm developing relationships. Businesses don't run businesses. People run businesses. Like I'm not afraid to plant. I'm not afraid to plant and water and
Amen.
not afraid to
I
plant
mean,
and water and go
did,
hungry for a season or two to have
all right.
to
So just
eventually have
hold
an
that thought.
abundance that
Okay.
I'm just going to give away in at the end anyway. I'm not gonna.
Because I don't need it.
I'm
Because
building it.
yeah,
I'm
I
not.
don't need.
It's because it's
Look,
not the reason why I have the abundance at times of things or whatever. It's like because it's for me to share. It's not for me to hold or to have or to grasp. It's to
yeah.
hand out and to you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Like I have the opportunity to impact so
Okay.
many
So
kids
let's.
right now. Like I have 100+ people rotate in and out of my gym. 100+ kids rotating in and out of my
Wow.
gym a week. Like if I could bring them a little bit closer either know about the Lord, to know that He loves them, and that wrestling's an opportunity, or that anything's an opportunity. So
Yeah. That's a lot of kids, brother. That's a lot of kids to come through to have a responsibility for. You can assume the responsibility, or you can look at them just like another dollar bill. And I know what you're looking at. But let's go back for just a minute to the plant. You're not afraid to plant and water. Okay, so this is the essence of this podcast. This is the essence of what I want to come out is there's a principle in the Bible: plant, one plants, one water, and God gives the increase. That whole gardening idea is throughout the Bible from Genesis to the end. It's a principle that God gave us that says if you will plant with some faith and not try to get your apples off the tree
mhm.
tomorrow, if you will do that, there is an abundance coming, like Roman just expressed. Now, that's a principle that he's given us adults. And there's so many of us adults that don't even get the
Mhm.
principle because we don't read the
Yeah,
flipping Bible. We don't read it. We're looking, what kind of tree to plant. It don't matter.
plant
Just
one.
plant one.
Yeah,
Well, that principle is what we can, as adults, we should be sharing with kids. And sports gives
yeah,
us that.
1,000%.
Go lift your weights. Go get your butt kicked in wrestling for a year before you win a match. Whatever it is, you gotta plant, and that's what this is all about. I want that explicit idea there, man. And I mean, you've really done an amazing job, which you really caught me off guard, man. 100 kids coming through every week. That's a lot. You have really went to
Yeah,
work.
yeah, it's awesome. You build it. Yeah, that's what someone told me, especially with naming it the Coliseum. I didn't want it to be Roman's wrestling gym.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so it was the Coliseum sounded like a strong name, and gladiators sounded like a
Yeah.
cool vibe. And then my name's Roman too, so kind of yeah, it all worked together. And yeah,
It
it's
all
a I have a
works.
really man, dude. I
Yeah.
probably in the last 3 years, I probably had 3,000 kids walk in and out of the doors. It's wild actually. I mean,
Wow.
I have a camp of 60 kids, 70 kids sometimes. So I get it with for 5 hours that I can talk with and hang out with, and yeah, it's fun.
Isn't
Yeah.
that powerful? That's powerful. All right, before we go here, one last thing. I saw somewhere that you posted that USA Wrestling or something. You got is that something that you've tied up with here? Was that recent or was it something that's coming?
No,
There was something on.
USA Wrestling is pretty much just that's like the travel ball league of if
Okay,
that makes sense. It's
okay,
kind of just like the travel ball league. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
I don't know. I don't have any partnership with USA Wrestling or anything. Um, I just have a team. I have a USA Wrestling team in a way, and they compete with my school through USA Wrestling, and then they attend pretty much
yeah.
like some of the statewide tournaments and
I'm
all
with
that.
you.
Yeah, nothing
Okay,
yet.
and I just bring that up. I got you. I just brought it up because I thought I saw it on Facebook there, and it seemed like something that was big coming for you. But look, man, I'm really proud of you guys. How long you and Kaylee been married?
I don't know.
How long ago has
I have
that
no
been?
idea.
Yeah, don't feel bad
I have
about it.
no
That's
idea,
what we
man.
do,
I have
man.
no
Guys
idea.
don't know.
Kaylee, how long we been
That's
married?
crazy.
I'm gonna say
I
4 years.
should I should I should know that. Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
like that. I don't
I
know
have no
either,
idea.
but I'm really proud for you guys, of you guys. I'm telling you, I'm really
Appreciate that.
proud for y'all. Yeah, man, I love the fact that you answer a text and every once in a while you shoot one out. But yeah, just pray for us here on
Of
this
course,
end,
man.
brother.
Always.
Yeah, always. Sometime we'll come down here and see you. We'll slip. Me and Stacy may jump in the car, and y'all gonna open back up tomorrow when
Actually,
y'all.
no. To be honest, we're practicing today.
Of
I,
course.
I
I
have a
mean, of
private. Well,
course.
well, it's kind of tough because I mean, I have kids competing all day Saturday, and I don't have class Friday, so I didn't want their last practice to be
Gotcha.
on Tuesday, and then they go and compete Saturday, and wonder why the kids that practice Wednesday, Thursday are
Listen.
beating them up. So I get to fill out
Yeah.
checking all my boxes and be like, hey, we have practice. uh, whether whoever wants to come
We
and
did
not
our
go,
deal.
you
There
know,
you go.
so it's all up to them. I'm very easy on that. It's a very individual sport, and I think that's what separates me. I'm not like you got to be here, you got to be at these parents. If you're going to do, it, you got to commit. Man, my prices are half the price of all the other gyms, and I could easily charge more than what they're charging, and people would probably pay it. Like I don't care that much about that. If I can do a couple of things here and there, I'm cool. And then care about these kids getting better at wrestling and better at being people. You know, being better followers. So
Yeah.
my focus and
Well, it's
everything else will.
well, it's pretty obvious you're doing it the right. You're doing it for the right reasons. If you are wrestling, you're offering them an optional practice kind of thing on New Year's Day. I find
Well, I don't.
that's
To be
so
honest, I
good.
don't
That's
make
just
mandate
perfect.
practices. Period. People have their own stuff going on, and
Yeah.
they're eight
Well,
years
there you go.
old.
Yeah.
Like when they're 8 years old. Like yeah.
Man,
Maybe if I
to some parents, and
yeah, yeah. I
sometimes that
mean,
don't
some of
matter.
the parents find it. It really has to do with how much like it's not getting the kid to drink the juice; it's getting the parents to drink the juice, right? Like it's to get them
Yeah. Yeah.
like committed to doing it because they're the ones driving them and taking them. Like this isn't high school, there isn't a travel service for them. Like the only way for them to get to practice is if the parent makes the time to bring them to practice. If the kid decides that they want to do it, sure, then sometimes the kid will then sometimes the parent will do what it's necessary for the kid, right? So building a program where that parent feels like it's necessary for their kid to be there as a person and for the sport is seems to be my focus and seems to be working. And then also being like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not going to make a mandated practice when your family flew in from whatever and y'all want to skip a practice. Like I don't run a team like that. This is an individual sport. Like we don't go compete necessarily as a
Yeah.
team. Really, it's all open tournaments and individual tournaments, and one person's wrestling at a time. So if I was a coach like at a school, I would probably make a lot of things more mandated and stuff. I'd probably have to, but what I'm
Yeah.
doing is just like a
Well, that's a different
yeah,
environment.
it's a little bit more buy here, pay here, individual building than it is, I guess, huge mainly team aspect, which is why I think is special about wrestling compared
Yeah.
to other sports because everything is
Yeah.
you're just a puzzle piece in the picture in a lot of other sports. Like without seven other
Yeah.
girls, eight other girls on the field, like there ain't no game. You can't play.
Can't
They
play.
know you even
Right.
playing catch. You know what I mean? Like you can't even play, right? So like
Yeah.
you got two people deciding to fight each other. Sweet. We just need some soft ground. Don't even. That's optional. That's a luxury. Padded mat. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then the person, the referees, there for the safety, not even for. I mean, they're there to score points, but it's like if two people are fighting, one person needs to be there to, in case things get serious, that someone's there to mediate
Crazy.
this.
Yeah.
They're there for the safety, a lot
Yeah.
of times.
I I was no, I've watched a good bit of wrestling, and I've only seen one time when it got out of hand, two guys, and I was like, oh my god, how did they? That I didn't even ever think about that situation, but I guess that
It
probably
does in a
happens more
practice
often than
room
I
for sure.
would realize.
Things get heated because it's not just
Wow,
a 6 minute match with a stranger. It's I'm wrestling this kid or even a guy on my team for an hour and a half, and he keeps doing the same thing over and over, and and then he's beating you up or whatever it is, and the emotions are flying, and I'm trying to kind of break you, and I'm yelling, kind of hooping and hollering at you, and really trying to pour it on you, and I'm trying to take them over the edge sometimes, right? I want to push them because
yeah,
like without that threshold, we don't know how far we can go. If we can't push the wall, if we can't find the wall, we don't get to the wall. We can't push it back, and we'll always have low ceilings if we're
yeah.
if we're afraid to get past that point. And then my job is to have them break through that and really start figuring some things out about themselves because it's easy to be cool and everything's nice when everything's nice. It's good when it's good, you know. Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
The yeah, that was a piece that was an eye opener for me. The look, man, I've enjoyed it. I could seriously talk. I've got a list of stuff here. I could talk for another 2 hours, but I know it's New Year's Day, and I really can't tell you how much you and Kay. I mean, of all the things I've known you for a good while, but you and Kaylee doing what y'all do is. I mean, you don't even understand. Like Stacy loves it when she posts and those post the pictures and stuff. I mean, you really do impact people outside of what you guys know, right? And we all do. I know that, but I want you to know that personally from my side too. I was telling Bryson that you were going to be on. He said, "Man, that'll be good.
And then
That'll be
laughed at me. He's
good."
like, "Oh, that should be good."
See, yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah, no, he absolutely laughed, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was, and you have to know too. You have to tell Preston when you see him that Preston really was the one that started this because him and I were going to do a little
Hmm.
podcast, and then things kind of just hard to get our schedules together. But and then this kind of grew out of that. So anyway, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate what you're doing, and if you ever need anything or if I can help in any way, you let me know. You
Hey, I love you too, man. Y'all be good. Be good to yourself. Love what you do and do what you love.